All right, we're here on the launch pad, and the stupid game is trying to tell me that we have only 4,600 meters per second. That's a big fat lie. I don't believe you. We're going to go count down anyway. I'm pretty sure that's wrong. If this is correct, then we don't even get to the moon, but I'm very sure that's wrong. All right, what I want to do right away is start tipping this thing over just a little bit so that I can start hopefully initiating some kind of controlled gravity turn here. But I probably won't be able to because there's a lot of weight here fighting me to go that way. It doesn't want to go that way. So we're going to want to activate this center engine just to give a little bit of vectoring here. So we'll go ahead and activate that. We'll stay about 40-ish or so. Yeah, I think our thrust on that is about 40 or so. We want to just go to the side in a very controlled manner because if we go too far, we will not be able to stop it from rolling over. And it is already fighting me. It is already fighting me. I'm going to have to... Yep, I am. We're good. And oh boy. Yeah, I think we got it. All right. Excellent. Let's go ahead and we'll crank that engine all the way up now. And we're going to get rid of the boosters. And we're going to want to throttle down just a little bit here. I don't think we... Oh boy. No, never mind. We do need to control this a little bit more. Oh, okay. We're good. We're good. Now, our apoapsis is already in space. Those boosters pushed our apoapsis already in space, which is crazy that we're already up there. But we need to get even faster. In fact, we want our orbit to be about 100 kilometers, right? That's the mission parameter. So we're going to burn towards the horizon like this. About like we are already. We're going to burn towards the horizon until we get to our apoapsis being about, I don't know, 95, 96. Seems fine. Maybe a little bit more, but we want to get around 100 is what we're looking for here. After we're all said and done. So I think this is probably good. We can go ahead and kill it here. Now, that's not a good ascent profile. It's not bad, but it's not good either. And I think, if we could go back and do it over again, which I totally can if I want to, but I would probably want to have a rocket that's a bit more stable. Okay, so the next stage that we'll have to have is going to be this engine, and we're going to have a Terrier at that point. I believe that's what that is. It's going to give us another 1,175. There's another 1,314 here. And we have 2,475 in the engine that we're currently running. So we now have 4,900 meters per second remaining. Hey, look at that. We have more than we started with. See, told you the stupid game was wrong. All right, let's go ahead and hit this. We're 10 seconds away from our apoapsis, so we want to push this as fast as we can. And I definitely did that too late. I should have started that a lot earlier, so that's my bad. I wasn't paying attention. If I angle it back a little bit like this, so I'm not completely on periaps, I can sort of push that apoapsis forward a little bit. We want to see this timer here. This is what I like to watch. How many seconds to apoapsis, that kind of thing. And we want to keep that at low number, right? We want to keep this to where we are basically not going past it. The idea being that if this number resets and goes high, then at that point we are falling. We are now losing altitude, and we don't want to be doing that. So if we want to fire this, I like to play it really close to the chest. And I think we've done a pretty good job of doing just that. Look at that, huh? So let's slow this down a little bit. And again, we want to get to around 100 anyway on the apoapsis, so it's kind of fine if we go this a little bit high. We are definitely in space now. And we're at 102. That's not where I wanted to be. So we're going to have to pull that back just a little bit, but we have time to do that. So I'm going to flip this over. We're at 1467. That's how much delta V we have left in this stage. So, I mean, like I said, in the VAB, I think we got enough to get to the moon. I'm hoping we have enough to land and get back. That's the part that I'm a little worried about. I think we have enough to land, but to get back is going to be a little bit more challenging. So I'm just going to hit this ever so slightly to get this to be in that 100K range. Right there. Okay. So there's that 100K range. And then we're going to want to flip over. I'm not even entirely sure if we need to flip all the way, but we're looking to get to the apoapsis, so we're going up again, right? Our altitude is climbing. If we go by sea level, it looks more controlled. It kind of just does this number, it kind of in and out, and you're like, why is this altitude freaking out? This is relative to the ground, so all the changes in elevation happening below us are affecting this. But if we just go sea level, you'll see that we are steadily climbing. And what I'm looking for here, you just need to get to the apoapsis. So it should be around 100 kilometers in the air. And at that point, we can do our objectives that we have for the mission. Yeah, so we can get up here, around about here. I think this is close enough, right? We're at 100 kilometers already, so let's point ourselves prograde again. And we can do science here, but do we really need to? There's nothing to collect. So there's no science to do. All right, so from here, we're just going to pop this up ever so slightly, just a little bit. There we go. Just enough to where we satisfy that requirement. We don't have to do much of anything else. So there we are. We are now high enough to do that requirement. Next, we need to set up our maneuver for the moon. So this is our target. And we want to set up this maneuver. Looks like we're going to have to go... well, we're going to have to go around. Yeah, one full rotation here before we can really fire this at the best point. But create the maneuver here. And then we'll go that way. Let's see how much delta V we're going to use to make this happen. It should be around 850. But at this altitude, we probably have to use a little bit more. Because we're not quite the right height above Kerbin for this. There we go. So if we adjust it a little bit, 842 gets us in the door. And likewise, it actually, 842 gets us to crash. That'll get us to crash into the surface. But if I shift this ever so slightly, we can get it to like that. There we go. So that's about where I want to be instead. So we're going to fire this maneuver here. It's 842 meters per second. So we'll be able to achieve lunar orbit with the stage we currently have, which is kind of unnecessary. We over-engineered that. So we may have over-engineered the first part of this and maybe under-engineered the second part. I don't know. We'll see. But this is doable. So that's what we're going to have. Now, we also have another objective in the mission, right? To go ahead and EVA during this. So we're going to do that too. Pop, done. Objective completed. And we can also let go and do another observation if we want to. We already have this, I'm pretty sure. So I don't think it's going to get us anything, but Bob's never done it before, and Bob wants to do it. He's very persistent. He's like, you know what? I bet I'll see something that Val didn't see. And it didn't work out, did it, Bob? Didn't work out at all, did it? We can't transmit that. Now, we could also extend our antenna now. We could extend these out for the purposes of transmitting later. I know it's kind of dark, but it's because we're on the dark side. Let's go ahead and point towards our maneuver. Get ourselves set up for that. And we have a long way to go for that maneuver, though, so we have to go all the way around the light side before we can do anything with it. But that doesn't stop us from being able to line up for it already, so we'll just do that, and then let's go ahead and get around the light side. Oh, it's looking good, isn't it? It's still a beautiful game, guys. I know, I know what some of you were thinking. KSP1 looks better with mods. Yes, we know. All right, this is first party. This is without mods, all right? I don't like to compare vanilla games to modded games. All right. Obviously, modders will improve on what's already there. That's the entire point of modding. If they didn't improve on what was already there, then they wouldn't make the mod. They're going to mod this one too. Okay? The baseline is better here. So add the mods to a new higher baseline and you're good to go. Oh, you know what? I messed up. I messed up, guys. I messed up, guys. I didn't burn on time. I messed up, guys. I wasn't paying attention. See what happened? It's all right. The consequences for that are basically non-existent, so it's fine. We'll just keep our nose pointed at our maneuver, and we'll just watch the line go up, and we'll stop it at the right time, and it'll be fine. We won't have the exact place we would have had otherwise, but it'll still be good. All right, and we'll start bringing her down here in a second. Start slowing it down, slow it down, slow it down, slow it down, slow it down. And let's focus on the moon really quick. I want to go just a little bit more. Get me really close. There we go. Really close. I like it. The text is very small, but I think it says 99. And then this one says a lot lower. So I think we're good there. So our current periaps is pretty good at 41 is what it says. So we're going to just go a little bit more here. 32, 20, 25, 20. I think 20 is pretty good. We'll stay at 20. Okay, excellent. We are going to the moon. Zoom, zoom, zoom. We're going to the moon. We listen to kids songs, okay? Lots and lots of kids songs. You know, I've got an infant. I've got a 1-year-old, okay? Things like that. We do things like that. I want to point my nose, or at least point my craft in a direction where it can get sunlight very easily. And this seems to be a pretty good direction to get sunlight there. It's probably needs to go a little bit this way a little bit more. Of course, we're about to get blocked anyway, but when the sun does come back over the horizon, we'll be able to get it. Okay, let's time accelerate a bit all the way around to the moon. We're going to the moon all the way over here, and we will pass by the moon on the way. We're not going to have to stay in space until the way back this time. Okay. We have arrived in the moon's sphere of influence, ladies and gentlemen, with a Kerbal this time, and can run additional experiments that we couldn't run before. We can even transmit those experiments. Of course, the ones we're going to be transmitting don't appear to be valuable. This one here would be nice to be able to transmit that one. It's going to transmit all of them, even though I don't need to transmit that one. Transmit a different one. It doesn't matter. They're going to transmit all of them anyway, so it's fine. But we also want to go ahead and EVA. Bing. There we go. And we can say, look, Mom, no hands. Run a crew observation while we are in EVA. There we go. Whee! It's fun, isn't it? I think so. Let's get our jetpack out here so we don't mess that up. We can go anywhere we want. Isn't that great? Crew observation while we're using all this stuff. It says ready, but I think we just did it, didn't we? I'm pretty sure we just did a crew observation. Science is a little weird in this game, to be honest. The interface is not very clear. I find it's not clear on like what can be done and when. And like you don't know that you got it until after you tried it. And I don't know. I just wish they wouldn't have. I understand that they need to develop things a little different. You know, I get that. But some things about the other experience were really helped by mods. And I know maybe it's poor form to say, but I kind of wish the team would have looked at the most popular mods and said, people seem to like those. We should do it like that. And I know maybe it's, maybe it's poor form to do that. I don't know the ethics of that, but it just stands to reason that if a lot of people like a mod, chances are a lot of people like what that mod is doing and how that mod is doing it. That's just my opinion, man. And they had to go and do a whole new interface here, which I don't know, there's certain parts of it that I suppose are an improvement. I really like this part. This part here is awesome. Okay. I would even say that the burn timer, now that it's working correctly, it wasn't working correctly when I saw it before. I would even say that is an improvement. definitely. I hate this. I hate the parts manager. I want nothing to do with it. I want to drop it in a fire and watch it burn to the ground. I like my pop-up windows on individual parts. I especially like the part where you could right-click a part like this, and then if you wanted to get rid of the pop-up, you just right-click anywhere else and it would close. But now the damn thing doesn't close. You have to hit this X or hit this. It's just little things like that. All right, I'm just saying. Let's go ahead and point towards our next maneuver. And we can run all the same science when we're low orbit for the moon as well. So we're going to face the direction. And so we don't miss it this time, I will warp to the maneuver here. Boom. All right. We are down 40 seconds to maneuver. We're very low. Running new science here. Looks pretty good. We have a lot of samples, 120 science worth of samples to deliver. We could do another crew report. I think we already did that, didn't we? But when you hit this button, I think it doesn't just perform every available science experiment possible in one click, I think is what it does. So the crew report would be part of that. But that doesn't give you the crew report like in EVA, for example. So I would still need to EVA for that. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. And we're just going to watch our apoapsis come in. And we're good. Just do license slow now. And we're good. All right, we are now in orbit of the moon. And we are in a nice tight orbit as well, aren't we? Just real nice and tight orbit. We're going to want to land over here in this this little area right here is where we're going to want to land. The soft area. So as we go around, and are we in a retrograde orbit right now? No. Okay, we're not. So if we want to land over here, then we'll need to rig this up, I think, so that we're coming in from like maybe over here. And then we're going to want to retrograde. Whoa, that's not retrograde. Are we? Maybe we are. Are we coming in retrograde on this? It can't be true. It can't be. It might be. Create a maneuver. Retrograde. Yeah. Okay, weird. Maybe it picked up prograde even though I thought I was doing retrograde. All right, so we want to do about like this. Now, obviously, that's not possible with the current stage. But that's okay, because we want to deorbit this stage anyway. We don't want space junk, right? So we're going to be transitioning to a different stage when we do this. And it's interesting that our burn timer also takes that into calculation as well. So it knows that we're staging. Here's stage 1, brings us down, and then we're going to run out, and then we're going to need to start 3 to go the rest of the way. And that's okay. And then we'll be basically dropping straight down, which is what we want to do. We want to be dropping straight down here. And then we can slow ourselves down as much as possible with this extra stage, which we should have quite a bit of delta V remaining in that stage. So we should be able to do a really controlled descent with that. It doesn't look like, though, it's going to be the correct stage to land with, because this is our landing stage. This is where our landing legs are. So we're basically just using this as a means to slow ourselves down enough to use as little fuel as possible from this. And then we'll use these boosters here for liftoff to give us that little extra nudge. Pretty much. Okay, so that's the game plan. Let's go ahead and face that maneuver now too. Isn't this exciting? We're going to land on the moon for the first time. This is the first time I've landed on the moon in Kerbal Space Program 2. When we played the sandbox before, I went to Minmus first. And pretty much every single time I've played Kerbal Space Program, I've gone to Minmus first, because it's easier to go to Minmus than it is to go to the moon. It's easier to land on Minmus for sure than it is to land on the moon. Landing on the moon is actually quite a challenge. There we go. All around the moon. Maybe we stop. Can we stop this time acceleration? We stop this. There we go. I want to just look down, okay? Bob wants to take it in. He hasn't EVA'd yet, has he? In low? I don't think we have. We should do that. We have 3 minutes to do that. In low moon orbit. So we should just let go. Do your report, dude. Do your observation. Or maybe we did already do this in low. I don't remember. I don't even know if this works. That's what I'm saying. We already did it. Okay, fine. Whatever. Grab it. Get back in. All right, so we can transmit all. We have enough power to do that. So let's just transmit everything so we don't lose it. It is going to cost us a little bit. Where's the sun? Okay, we have solar coverage where we are. We have a lot of EC and storage though, so I think we're good. And we're transferring that. That's 56 science right there. That's pretty good. And then these here, these are samples, and these samples have to be recovered. So, all right, we're solid here. Let's get this done, huh? This is where we want to land, is right over here in this area. And I feel like if we just hit it now, we'll be fine. Yeah, nah. Now we don't have a whole lot of room to fall, so we have to hit this we have to hit this really definitively, because we're going to start falling pretty fast, right? So we want to get going straight down as fast as we can. So let's do this right here. I'm going to go ahead and quick save it, actually. And boom. We're going to hit this, slow ourselves way down, and then we're going to have to hit the next stage. Pop. And pop. So that stage will get deorbited. We don't have a whole lot of thrust to weight here. I mean, we don't have a whole lot of power over our vehicle with this. I'm a little nervous, I gotta be honest. We're gonna switch to orbital. We're gonna switch to surface and go surface retrograde. And that's gonna help us. Actually, I think I want to do orbital retrograde. Yeah, orbital retrograde for now. Hold on, kill that for a second. We should be able to fall straight down from here. Let's check this. Yeah, we're going to fall straight down from where we are, so we don't need the maneuver anymore. Okay, surface retrograde is where we point, and we're going to watch our speed. We're falling now at 39 meters per second. This is going to increase, but we have 970 meters per second to work with here. So this is not all that well engineered. What I'm interested to see is whether or not I'm going to be able to slow myself down very fast, because this is a Terrier. It's not a very strong engine. It's not a good engine for landing on the moon. This one's a Terrier too, but at least there's a lot less mass to deal with. Like, you don't have this extra tank, so it's supposed to be better. If I do this, we can slow down pretty fast. So I think the Terrier is going to be fine. All right, I was a little worried about the Terrier being fine, but I think we're going to be fine. So I'm going to speed this up just a little bit. And in fact, why don't we go ahead and hit F5 again here? Because this is exactly over the mare that we'd like to land in. And so we'll go ahead and speed this up a little bit. Let's get ourselves down to above the ground. We have what, 6,000, 5,000. We'll go to like maybe 4,000 above the ground, and then we'll hit it. Actually, we might want to play this even closer to the chest here. Let's try this. Yeah. We'll slow ourselves down here. Oh yeah, we definitely needed to go faster than that. We might need a little boost. Oh dear, I might have done this too late. This is why we saved. This is why we saved. No, we're good. No, I think we're actually fine. Because as we slow down, right, we're also getting more time to slow down more. So I think we're actually solid. We're going to use all we can here. And we may not even need those damn landing legs. It might just be fine. But I want to use them. I want to use the landing legs, man. So we're going to be nice and controlled. 700 meters per second left on the table here. That's pretty valuable. I mean, if we can land like this, we should try, right? If it's possible to land without the legs, we should at least try. All right, so coming down, slowing ourselves down even more here. Get ourselves a nice controlled descent. It looks like we have a fairly flat land we're working with here, so that's pretty good. I'm gonna let it go just a little bit faster here. And we're gonna point up instead of retrograde. Pointing up allows us to make sure that the craft wants to stay pointing up in the air even after it reduces its speed to 0. And that we're now well within the impact tolerances of that engine, so we should be fairly good to go here. As soon as we touch down on the ground, we want to kill the engine. So it looks like we're not even going to need to worry about the landing leg situation. We're just going to land straight on this, flat on this surface right here. And we watch our shadow. It tells us exactly where we are, and touchdown. And keep it straight up. Keep it straight up. And the reaction wheels are good enough. The reaction wheels are good enough to keep ourselves straight up without the landing legs. An extra 600 meters per second remaining in this stage. That's enough to get us most of the way to orbit of the moon. We can run all of our science again. And we have the sun on a panel, oriented correctly to the sun even, so we can go ahead and transmit any science that is available here. We can transmit all the science that we want here. And then while we're doing that, you know, we can EVA here. So there's the EVA. We can do a, go ahead and get our jetpack out here really quick. See how effective that is on the moon in this game. Seems good enough, I think. Oh yeah, we're gonna easily be able to get to the ladder. That's what I was worried about, is I wouldn't be able to get to the ladder, but we can definitely get to the ladder. So very nice. Let's go ahead and grab our surface sample. There we go. Yeah, moon surface samples. Good stuff. And of course, the objective that Mission Control wanted us to do, as you know, is planting a flag. And we are, of course, going to want to do that too. So plant the flag. This is moon site 1. I can't type 1. Okay, we're going to do this then. 1. Black text just says Bob wins. They had a bet who would land on the moon first. Bob won. There you go, Bob. You can hear the reaction wheels trying to keep that thing pointed up the whole time. All right, we planted the flag. Sweet stuff. We can do a crew observation. I think we already did that, but we can try it. The thing is wobbling back and forth, and I definitely don't want it to fall, so I probably should get back in. Yeah, we already did that experiment. Okay, let's see if we can't go up. And we want to grab that ladder. There we go. I can't grab... Oh, interesting. I can't climb the ladder. I can grab it, but I can't climb it. All right, we're going to get up there closer to this ladder then. There we go. And board. Keep it facing upright, please. I mean, we pretty much done everything we want to do here, right? I guess I could try to land somewhere else, you know, but we've done everything we need to do. For mission control, all of that's complete. If I was to zoom to mission control here, I don't want to do that. I don't trust that. I don't know how that works for this game. I think we just lift off. We've landed. We planted the flag. We did all the science we could. I think we just go, yeah? I think so. Orbit, we're looking for a 90 degrees, so it's going to be that direction. So we'll just point ourselves where we need to go, and off we go. Get ourselves back in orbit. which is a very easy thing to do because I have way more fuel than I needed. Come to find out, way more fuel than what was required. Now, we do want to deorbit this stage, but I can always deorbit it in Kerbin as well. I can always direct it to crash into Kerbin, but it will definitely... I think we can actually crash into the moon here. Yeah, I don't think we have enough thrust to really get ourselves fully in orbit without crashing this into the moon. We'll just point it towards prograde for now. We'll see. But we planted our flag. We did what we came to do. And actually, at this point, we can probably just... Well, we need to go up anyway. I was going to say we could probably kill it and then wait for apoapsis at this point, but we need to go up a little higher anyway, so... I like the soundtracks. How every location has its own soundtrack and stuff. I really appreciate that. It's a cool detail. They did a really good job on sound for this game. They really put their put dollars into audio design for this game. Whether it comes to music or accurate engine sounds or all that kind of stuff. Like they've done a really fantastic job in my opinion on it. I think we could probably just ditch this stage. I do want it to crash into the moon. No joke. Absolutely want it to crash into the moon. So let's go to here. Create a maneuver plan that's going to get us out of here. So we're going to point... Well, let's see if we just get to orbit. Can I get to orbit with the stage that I currently have? I have 28 meters per second, so I won't be able to do it. Okay, good. That's what I wanted to see. So we will need to 100% will have this stage hitting the surface of the moon. Perfect. All right, then. That's all I wanted to know. Should I go to the maneuver now? Point it at the maneuver node. Zoom ahead. I mean, it will be close enough. This is close enough, right? I think so. We can call this close enough. Point prograde, please. And mark. Do that. And this stage expires with periapsis in negative numbers, which means it will deorbit. We'll separate. And fire. And there we go. We are now once again in orbit of the moon. With no space junk. It's just like we planned it. It's just as if we planned it, you guys. There you go. Now, if we continue to burn in this direction, we should... well, we want to burn from this side. So we want to go around the moon one more time. But if we burn from this side and go prograde, that'll get us in retrograde to Kerbin. And that will bring us zooming right in on Kerbin. Now, we want to use aero braking to slow down here. And that means putting ourselves in Kerbin's atmosphere. But we can always adjust this later. So once we get out of the atmosphere here, once we get away from the moon, and into a new sphere of influence, I'll be able to more accurately see what we're dealing with here. See, right now that's 438. So we would want to go a little bit more than that. And I know these numbers are really small, and I'm sorry. 312... 189, and that is 49, which is way too deep. We're gonna have to back that up a little bit. 107. Yeah, we can tweak this, but ideally what you want to do is just dip your toes in the atmosphere here. 50,000 is a little bit deep. 69,000 is a little shallow. Well, it's not going to be exact anyway, so we're going to say about there is where we want this burn to be. And that will allow us to just get into Kerbin and have Kerbin slow us down so we don't have to expend the fuel to do it. Even though we have plenty of fuel to do it, mind you. We have like 1,300 meters per second left on this stage now because I over-engineered it apparently. Even though the game was telling me I needed a lot more. We don't need a lot more. We would need a lot more if I was using my engines to bring myself into orbit around Kerbin. But who does that? You have an atmosphere, use it. It's free. As long as you got good, thermal coverage, you're not going to burn up, then you're fine. If you're not You know, as long as you're not stupid going in like 25K as your periaps right away and just burning yourself up, then, you know, sure. It'll work great. All right, we'll zoom ourselves ahead here. And we'll initiate that burn. How much science is left for us to bring back? We have 258 science worth of samples. That's pretty good. There's also 36 science worth of data that we can send back as well. I can transmit that data. So might as well do that now while we're waiting here doing nothing. It does take a bit, doesn't it? Does it keep transmitting if I speed up time? It does indeed. Just have to be careful because I'm like near my... Honestly, I really don't have to hit this maneuver precisely. It's not necessary to hit this maneuver precisely. We can actually just do it at any time, really. So it's not going to matter. I mean, I can still use this to get a good read on it, but it doesn't have to be precise. Okay. So here we go. In case you're curious on what we're doing, we're burning prograde, which is increasing our orbit around the moon. But what it's also doing is getting us to escape the moon's sphere of influence. And in so doing, we end up... Oh, hang on. I gotta pay attention to my burn here. In doing that, we end up going... We're burning in the opposite direction of our orbit around Kerbin. All right? In other words, we're kind of slowing ourselves down relative to Kerbin while speeding our orbit up that we already have. And we're doing it in this direction. We're going to use that same philosophy when we start to come over here and start going to different planets like Duna and Eve and such. We'll want to burn on a certain side of Kerbin depending on whether we want to go down closer to the sun. We want to go towards Eve, for example. We want to burn on a certain side so that we drop lower. So we would burn on the sun side in that case. Or we want to go to Duna. We want to increase our orbital speed to go out further. We would want to burn on the non-sun side. We want to burn on the darker side, on the night side of Kerbin to get ourselves around in that situation. So I'm kind of doing the same thing here, and burning on the Kerbin side is going to slow me down and drop me closer to what Kerbin's orbit is. Okay, so let's speed up time here. And we are going to drop out of the moon's sphere of influence and get picked up by Kerbin now. Go ahead and do even more science if we want to. There's actually 108 additional data out this way. Really? For what? What did we just do? Environmental data, high orbit. We haven't done anything in high orbit yet? Whoa. Does this mean I can do my EVA report? Can I do my EVA report? It's not really an EVA report, is it? It's just a crew observation. So it looks like crew observations from inside the cabin are this. I'm sorry, I am. I'm walking on the... All right, Yep, the ship has its own gravitational pull. Yeah, bro. Sure. Let's grab that and get back on, huh? What a neat trick. Transmit all data. That's a neat trick. Well done. Okay, so our orbit currently has us coming around with a periapsis of 75. So this is actually really nice. 75 is great. So we're going to want to, at any point in time, really, we just point retrograde. And we're going to want to drop our periapsis to be maybe like 61, 60 would be okay. 60. I think that's fairly safe. I mean, maybe I could go a little more aggressive, but the worst case scenario is I just have to go around multiple times, to where the worst case scenario, if I go too shallow, is that I burn up in a fiery glory. Which, I mean, I have this whole stage ahead of my heat shield, so I probably would be fine, but we don't know that. Also, I have my boosters still, so I can slow us down really fast that way too. So we're pointing retrograde, and we're just going to hit the thrusters a little bit, drop our periapsis into like the low 60s. I think probably 62 is, I think, okay. Because as we slow down in atmosphere, this will continue to drop as well. So it won't actually go down to 62. We'll probably end up being around 58, 57 anyway. So I'm thinking that's probably how we want to play that. Okay, so in that situation, we can now go ahead and I'm just going to time warp to this point right here to get ourselves closer to Kerbin. There we go. And we're going to make sure that we are still pointed retrograde. Make sure we're pointing in the right direction. Here we go. Very nice. Now, if we go in too shallow, again, we're going to burn up and everything. And most likely what will end up happening is our solar panels and stuff will start taking a hit from it. We can pull in our antennas. We're not going to be transmitting any more data. We're bringing everything back from this point. And I can time warp to, let's say, here. Bring ourselves even closer to Kerbin. There we go. Now we're coming in real fast. We are going 50% faster. We're going to be going over 50% faster than the standard velocity that we would normally be entering if we were just in orbit of Kerbin and we're entering the atmosphere to come back in from just orbit. We're going 50% faster than that, which is why I'm keeping ourselves pretty shallow here. We're only going in a little bit. So let's speed up time here until we get down to about that 70K mark right here. There we go. Looking pretty good. We'll go ahead and quick save here just in case. We don't know what kind of krakens we're going to run into. And we want sea level here. So we'll read out sea level, and we are now in atmosphere. So we're slowing down now. We can run even more science. My God. Science for days, man. Science all over the place. All right, good. So we should stay. We're now seeing our apoapsis is dropping, right? And the speed to get there is falling very fast, right? Now, again, this may not be deep enough in Kerbin's atmosphere to really change anything. It's possible. And so if I want to, in this case, I could just turn my thrusters back on. I've got tons of fuel remaining. I could just turn them back on, you know, and just use them to slow down even more, right? Because we're now climbing again. We're gonna burn the little boosters here too. The little extra thrusters. We just used up that fuel too. All right, so we're now climbing again. We're getting higher, and we brought our apoapsis in basically free. I mean, obviously we just used a little bit of fuel, but we brought it in all the way here, so we're no longer way over there, right? We brought it in real well. And there actually is a lot of heat buildup on these parts right now. Even though I don't see any heating effects, there is some heat on these parts. And they're beeping at me. Beep, 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 beep. Like they're scared. They're like, help us, please. We'll go ahead and hit this all the way. I think we could just use the rest of this fuel, because we are climbing and we're about to go back in space now. So we are now out of atmosphere again, and we're just going to burn this Terrier until we're ready to come back in, and that's about there. So our periapsis is now 50K. There's no way that we don't come back to Kerbin on the next go around. So we're good to come back to Kerbin now. But I'm going to keep this because we might as well use it to slow ourselves down when we re-enter the atmosphere next time around. So we're going to be using it on the next side. So I'm going to say maybe we warp to this point here. I think it's a pretty safe place to warp to. Yeah, 136 high. So maybe we'll go to about here. Okay, that's cut it pretty close, didn't I? That cut it really close. Okay, we are absolutely going to be staying in Kerbin this time. And again, we're going to want to make sure that we eject this stage just after we slow ourselves down a bit more. So we could do that kind of any time. I can probably just turn it on now, really. And we want to just see... We want to see our orbital speed just decline. We're going to be accelerating as we go down, but let's limit that a little bit. We're just going to do this. Now, I think we can wait a little longer. Honestly, we can use this to build up the heat. Like if these things start to burn up, that's kind of okay. Although I may not be able to control my... Yeah, I won't be able to control which direction I'm facing. Now, I want to be able to control that. So we're going to slow ourselves down as much as possible here. And that is probably too steep, honestly. Probably went a little bit too far with that. That might backfire on me. I think my profile here on my descent is pretty bad now. We'll go ahead and just get rid of that. And we'll go down with just the heat shield. Probably we'll end up running into that stage. Here we go, yeah. We're gonna run into it just ever so tight. Ever just a tiny tap here. And we'll just kick it that way. Get out of my way, you. There we go. And that stage will, if it doesn't burn up, and it probably won't, because it's got the engine facing that way, but if it starts tumbling, maybe. But if it doesn't burn up, then it's absolutely going to crash and burn later. So now we're heat shield forward. We're going to land, looks like maybe not the day side. It's like we're going to be kind of near the nighttime when we do land. We're still at 2,200 meters per second. We're still going really fast here. But we have full ablator. And that's a bit more than we need. But we have full ablator here, so we don't have to worry about the heat shield going bad. I'm going to turn a surface, go to surface and go to retrograde here, just so that we are facing the absolute best angle for this. And then when we get down to about 700 or so meters per second, I actually don't know what the specs are on this. We could arm them too. I guess we could arm them and then they'll deploy when it's safe. Isn't that how that works? I actually don't know how that works. I don't want to do it now because I might ruin it. Whatever, we quick saved, right? We can arm it. And we've already armed both of them. Okay, so those are armed. And they'll open, I think, when it's safe to do so. And I think that's around 900, 800 meters per second, something like that. That's what I think it is. All right. This is the part where the other piece of our ship probably burns up. We just don't want to lose our science. We have a lot of stuff there. I could even be cocky and run another environmental survey while we're burning. Just open it up and say hi. Say hi to the heat. Good. All right. We're pretty stable. Very good. Are we going to land on... Looks like we might actually land on the land. If not land, we're very close to land. Wow, the drogue chutes opened already, huh? That's crazy. They open at 1,300 meters per second? That's crazy fast. I would never open drogue chutes at that fast. But I don't know much about parachutes, so I mean, hell, maybe that's okay. It seems like that's awful fast, but we're definitely safe. Because we are totally... We're going to land in the water, too. Which is unfortunate. I would have rather have landed in a different biome. Because I've already landed in water before. So I definitely would have rather landed in a different biome, but it's okay. Okay, so we're definitely safe at this point. We can start to time accelerate a little bit here, get lower to the ground. Make sure that we're going to, ground here. I mean, we're above the sea, so ground and sea level is basically the same thing at this point. All right, there we go. So now we're down pretty good here. We can go ahead and pop the regular chute. Let's go ahead and deploy the MK16. And it will now deploy itself and bring us to a nice, comfortable landing speed. We did it, guys. We went to the moon. We landed. We planted flags. We got a lot of science. And we came back. And we didn't die. We over-engineered our craft. We didn't even get to see the landing legs work because we still had 700 meters per second remaining on a craft that at the landing pad, the launch pad, I suppose is what it really is, told me that I didn't even have enough delta V to get to the moon. And now we prove it wrong. Looks pretty. Huh? Doesn't it look pretty? We're landing at sunset. I mean, come on. How cool is that? Speed up time a little bit here. We're going a little slow. I mean, Bob will appreciate that when he lands, but, you know, it's going to take an hour to get to the ground. No, thank you. All right, there we go. So there we go. And we are touching down at 8.5 meters per second. So if we didn't have the heat shield, then our science experiment would have busted. Yikes. Then again, though, I also want to say that if we didn't have the heat shield, that's a lot of mass we wouldn't have had to slow down. We probably would have been going slower than 8.5 meters per second anyway. So ultimately, I think that cancels itself out. Shall we recover the vessel? So much science. I knew you could do it. Yeah? Did you? Did you think I could? Let's go to mission control and claim the remainder of that science. And we did all of this stuff in all one mission. Seems very good. Perfect circle. I think we actually earned one of these before, but it's okay. We did that anyway in this mission too. So I'm going to still say we did all of them in one mission, even if one of them was complete before. So that's 100 additional science. And then we have first dibs. That's another 100 science. Very good. And then we've got the spacewalking is going to give us 40 more. There we go. And finally, one small step, giving us another 300 science. I like how they have this little video for it. It's very cool. And with landing legs that I didn't use. But we did it. Okay, so now we have Munar Signal. Find the source of the mysterious signal on the moon. Ooh. Interesting. It's eccentric. You want another... So we have to find... We just have to make an eccentric orbit around Kerbin, which is very easy to do. Escaping Kerbin. Exit Kerbin's gravitational sphere of influence. Very easy to do. Lonely satellite. Orbit Kerbin with a probe core, antenna, and solar panel. All right, tell you what. This stuff is pretty boring, I'm going to say. Right here, this stuff we've done, it's so elementary at this point. Like, why give me missions like this, right? After already landing on the moon. After landing on the moon. Orbit Kerbin with a probe core. After landing on the moon? Really? Come on, guys. I'm going to do these off camera. You don't need to see me do these things. But this one here, I'm interested in. Let's see what that's all about in the next video, huh? Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Hope you give the videos a like. And you're probably watching this right before Christmas. So I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.